Almost a year ago, I wanted to film this video, but then I started a new system, and so I didn't end up doing this video for you guys. But then the other day on my Instagram, I talked about my budget, and I had lots of questions, and so I thought it would be a really good time to talk about how we do our budget, because it is the beginning of a year, and maybe some of you would be interested in how I do it. So the first thing that I want to say is I know that there are so many ways to do this. There's no right or wrong way. Well, I guess there could be lots of wrong ways. No, but really, like, a lot of you were like, oh, you should try this app or this app. And I know there's lots of different apps out there that connect to your bank account and kind of keep track for you, and you can still go in and personalize. And I've tried that before, but it didn't work for me. I didn't love it. I finally had Landon come up with an Excel sheet for me that works really well for us. It's customized for us, and I really like the system of how we do things. And so, like I said, this works for us. Find what works for you, but I want to show you, I have been doing this since high school, and I wish I would have kept my tracking sheets back then, but I have one from 10 years ago that I will show you. It's a really simple system. You basically write down the list of things that you know you need to spend your money on for the month. And I do this every month. And I know some people do it weekly, bi-weekly, or however works for them. So I write down what I know I need to spend. I write down what I think I'm going to be spending, and then that's kind of like my budget. And then I keep track of what I have spent, and then at the end of the month, I can kind of see the difference. This was from 10 years ago. Do you want to know how much we paid for rent? $375. Landon, do you remember when—
I love that little grandma's basement. We just lived in a little dark basement.
It was so small, but it was like perfect. We saved so much money. Anyway, so you can kind of just see here, I had it prioritized in different categories. I didn't even have to pay any utilities back then. Man, that was great 10 years ago. I don't keep every budget sheet, but I did keep a few throughout the past like 12 years of marriage, just so I could go back and kind of see what we spent our money on, and it is kind of fun to go back and look. But now I've ditched the paper system, and it is all on the computer, so let me show you. So this is our budget sheet, and if you look down on the bottom, we have a tab for every month of the year. That way, I know that like in June, we have expenses for our car. I can go in and plug in June, like car registration. So at the end of every month, I plan for the next month. This really isn't in any order over here, but it is broken into categories. So like our housing, we've got to pay, oh, I need to update that and have it say mortgage instead of rent. But our different utilities, someone did ask me what fast offering is. Fast offering is in our church, the first Sunday of every month, we do a church-wide fast, and then we take the money that we would have spent on our meals that day and donate it to our church, and then they turn around and take that money and, what, Landon?
Donate it to charities and good things like that.
Okay. I wanted him to answer it for me. Yeah. So that's what fast offering is. It's just a donation. I know every month I'm going to have to pay for piano lessons. Our Spotify account we actually canceled, so I can erase that. But Amazon Prime, auto insurance, CHM, it's Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's not really healthcare insurance, it's something totally different, and that could be a whole nother vlog in and of itself, but that's technically our healthcare. And then each month we put money into our savings account, and I'll talk more about that in a minute as well. And then of course like the internet, more utilities, and then with our car, we know we have to pay for gas and car maintenance, savings. Landon bought a new battery for his car the other day, so that goes in there. So what I like to do is I like to go in right here, and I like to plug in everything that I know for sure that I'm going to have to spend. And then I go in and do like extra things like clothes and hygiene, household items, diapers and wipes I probably buy every other month. I know every year Christmas comes around, and I know my kids have birthdays every year, and so I put money away every month for that kind of stuff right there. And then just a few more other things. And then down here it will total it up for me. And I usually round it up to the nearest hundredth and then take that difference and put it under miscellaneous, just so it's an even number. Now this is what I like to do to help me stay on budget. I take that number, my total number of what I'm going to be spending that month, or what I think I'm going to spend, and I transfer from my savings account over to my checking account that number. So whatever is in my checking account is what I know I have to spend, and it's already allocated under different categories. So that's kind of what helps me stay in budget. However, I'm not super tight and super strict that that's all I can spend. There are times that I will transfer throughout the month from savings over so I can buy something. Maybe that defeats the purpose, I don't know, but it's still...
You do?
Yeah, I do that, can you believe it? So that's what I do, and then let me show you how we kind of keep track throughout the month. So I'm just going to make numbers up here. Let's say our grocery bill each month is $600. Well, throughout the month, if you come over here, I type up here on the top, so you just say equal. So let's say I spent $30.50 at the grocery store one day, and then I went another day, I'm just going to hit plus, and then like $15. Someone said, well, I don't record every day. What happens if I get behind a few days recording what I spent? And I only get on every few days. Sometimes it's once a week. And I pull up my bank account or my bank statement on my phone through the app, and I pull up this spreadsheet. And what I will do is I will look through and see what the last number was that I recorded. And then I know I need to start from there and going up. So let's say this $30.50 right there, I see that in my bank account, and I see the $15 in my bank account at the grocery store, but then I see another charge at the grocery store for a different amount, then I know that's kind of where I need to start and record from there up. Well, Landon said that that didn't really make sense, but it makes sense in my head. I just basically make sure that each of those numbers up here on the top are accounted for that are in my bank account. And then over here, because we do run a business, this is what helps me when we do taxes every year. Most people don't have to worry about this right here, but you might want to do this right here. So when I am spending money, let's say it's on Landon's school stuff, or we do pay for Porter's school because he's in full day kindergarten, that's tax deductible, so I'll plug it in right here as well. If there's anything that is tax deductible you spend throughout the month, just plug it in right here so that when you do taxes in the spring, it's much easier to remember what you can deduct. And if you do have a business, the way that we have this categorized is the exact same spreadsheet that our accountant is going to ask for. So when we do our taxes for business, this is how the accountant is going to want it. So that's how we categorize it each month. Any income that we have, we plug in over here. And of course, usually you want your income to be bigger than your expenses over here. Our monthly income is kind of up and down. Each month is going to be a little bit different. So we just try and keep this about the same each month. As far as savings go, this is how we do it. So in our bank account, you can have multiple savings accounts. We have our basic checking account that we use, like I said, how I transfer money over each month, and that's what I can use for like spending. And then we have different savings accounts. We have one for medical, one for Christmas, and one for car stuff. And so on my spreadsheet, you saw Christmas, you saw car savings, and medical savings. So I do budget for putting money into those accounts, and I just basically transfer money from wherever over into those different savings accounts. That way I can kind of like visually see in my bank account how much money I have to spend on gifts and all of that kind of stuff, especially if like an emergency comes up with like health related, we have the money in there to spend. And like I said earlier, I know some months are going to be a little bit more expensive than other months. I know in August, I need to plan a little bit more for like the clothing area because the kids are going back to school and need new clothes. So I usually budget more in that area than I would for the other months. Or sometimes I just kind of budget the same every month and I just take the extra and like just kind of keep it aside and know that I have that extra, kind of save it up each month for August. Landon just said, you got your nails did. So I also have a Venmo account, and that's my fun play money that I don't budget for. And every once in a while, like if I pay for the kids' piano lessons or cell phone to a family member, then this is what I will do. I don't usually check it underneath actual. I'll kind of just make a note off to the side and I'll write like Venmo or something. That way that I know that I have been responsible and paid for whatever it was that I paid for, but it did not come out of my budget because it's still in my checking account. It came out of Venmo. So I just mark a little note right there sometimes. I would say that the most important thing is to at least know how much money you have coming in and how much money you have coming out. Keep track of what you're spending your money on, and you would be surprised on areas that you can save money, areas that you should be better at. And one thing my mom always said growing up, it drove her crazy when our friends would be like, oh, this is on sale, go buy it, or that's on sale, we should go get it. My mom said, it doesn't matter if it's on sale, whether it's on sale or not. Maybe we didn't have the money for that item, and so we don't want to spend money that we don't need to. I'm always hearing people say, oh, I bought this $5 thing because it was on sale, but they didn't really need that item, so they're just spending money that they didn't really need. So just because something says sale doesn't mean you should or need to buy that item. Save yourself the money and just don't buy it at all, and you'd be saving yourself money. So paying full price sometimes is better than spending money that you don't really have. I hope that this video helps you. I hope I was able to give you some tips and tricks on how to budget your money. Like I said, we can all do this a little bit different, so find what works for you, and happy savings.